Hey guys, so Pokemon investing is not real investing. Now, I'm sure almost all of us have heard this from someone in our lives. Someone bashing the collectible cardboard world, bashing Lego, bashing Tamagotchis, hockey cards, whatever, right? And I'm at a point where listening to this type of thing just really annoys me because we are in an era where, the collectible market in general is a legitimate investment and you can make some real fucking money by investing in this shit. So, I want to talk about that today. Now, there will be things that do outperform Pokemon, right? So there are some stocks like Palantir that's up 360% over the past year. It's very unlikely that you're ever going to see a Pokemon product, whether that's a card or a booster box, go up 360% in a year, right? Like that's insane growth. But that's also not the norm, okay? The norm for the S&P 500 this year 25%. And that's not even a normal year, right? Like a normal year in the S&P investing in stocks is what, 8, 9%, 10% maybe. That's 10% is like a good year. In Pokemon, we can definitely make more than this, right? If we're investing in the right things. Now, again, there are other stocks that outperform Pokemon. So like Nvidia over the past 12 months, 175% return. We will look at some Pokemon product that has done better than this in terms of percentage over the past 12 months probably isn't as good of an investment as Nvidia would be, but a lot of these things we will look at today have absolutely outperformed the S&P 500 and even outperformed stocks like Tesla, which are some of people's, top picks. And to get right into it, I mean, starting off, Brilliant Stars, as you guys saw, Brilliant Stars is up more than 32.71%. Okay, this box isn't $210 anymore. This is a $220 box based on, current most recent sales. I mean, you had one at 205 yesterday, but 218, 220, 220, 220. Like it's at $220 now, right? Chilling Rain. TCG Player has it up 53.58% this year. That's almost double what the S&P is up. Actually, more than double what the S&P is up. And it's actually higher than that because this box is $250 at this point, not just 240. Astral Radiance, 47.3% return. And again, probably a little bit higher than this, now a 190 box. Silver Tempest pushing 190 as well, up 43%. Even Surging Sparks, right? Like if you bought Surging Sparks at, $110 pre-order or whatever, and you're selling it at 180, 190, like you're up 50, 60%. And that's very possible. Like a ton of people did that, right? Like that play was there and you could have made that play. Lost Origin, same sort of thing, up 82.44% over the past 12 months, $250. Guys, this is actually higher than 250 at this point, okay? Most recent sale from today, $270 for a booster box. Yesterday, 261, 261. Those are the most recent sales, okay? We got to keep an eye on Lost Origin, but this thing is moving towards $300. Fusion Strike. Now, the TCG player graph is off because it's showing 242. This box is like $342. Most recent sale from yesterday, 355, guys. You could have bought this at $140, $150 a year ago and been up 150% on your money, okay? Not a ton of stocks, maybe Nvidia, maybe Palantir if you're into that, right? You could make more than investing in Fusion Strike over the past year. But if you're just in ETFs or something like that, you're not even close to Fusion Strike. Okay, investing in this cardboard would have made you way more money than putting your money into the S&P 500. And again, like even sets that have exploded already that are top sets still do great, right? Like Evolving Skies up 118% over the past 12 months. That's higher than pretty much everything except, some of the top performing stocks. And Evolving Skies, we talk about Pokemon investing and sure, like there is risk to these sort of things, right? Like we don't know what Pokemon's going to do. They could print anything into the ground. Popularity could go away. There always is the risk of when you sell things, you get scammed. Storing things, you could potentially get robbed. Your house could burn down or your warehouse could burn down. Like there's always a lot more liability with this sort of thing than compared to investing in just regular stocks and ETFs and whatnot. But you guys are making the money that it's worth investing in, right? Like the risk to reward ratio makes it make sense, in terms of actually putting your money into it. And it's not just sealed product, right? You could invest you could invest in singles and do very well also. So the Mu EX, right? Almost 200% return this year. You could have bought this at $90 early October. You could have bought PSA 10s for 300, 310 USD, whatever it is. Now they're what, six, $700 USD in that range. Like you could have easily doubled your money within a couple months just by making this play. The Merrill up 265%, guys. Like, this card's obviously exploded, but and I know a lot of people are going to comment down below. They're going to go, well, it's a $28 card. Like, you'd have to buy so many. Sure, buy PSA 10s, right? Like, I've done videos before where I talk about lower value cards, and, sure, like, people bring up a good point that you can't just buy like 1 to 2,000 of these. You'd be putting so much time in to try and offload them, right? But a lot of these cards are, 80, 90, $100, 110, $20 in PSA 10s, right? So if you buy those and they double and then you can sell it for 250, if you put an hour in to sell it at 250 to basically double your money at $120 buy-in, that makes sense, right? Instead of just buying it for like $14 raw and then selling it for 28. Like that's, for a lot of people, that time commitment's not going to be worth it. But 265% return, guys. And there are cards that are worth more that have done, just as well, right? The Magikarp up 218.6% over the past 12 months, guys. You could have bought this at $60. You could have bought again, at $100 when it stagnated. You could have bought, hell, even if you bought at the peak, right, and it was $150, you would still be up like 33% on your money, maybe even higher. Let's just check. Now it's still in the 200 range. So even if you bought the peak, when all the alt arts were taking off in June, you'd still be up 33% on your money sitting on this card, right? So there was so much opportunity to buy into a lot of these cards, a lot of these sets. Surging Sparks, like it was just so obvious. Anyone who actually knew anything about this hobby got in early to this. And people were yelling about plays too, right? Like Silver Tempest was on the Pokemon Center, for the longest time, 143 a box. I even made videos, like newer videos a couple months ago, or even like a couple weeks ago, I believe, when this was still in stock, telling you guys the boxes were arriving now in decent condition with packaging. You could have just bought these at 140, 150 after tax, whatever it is. You'd already be up like 25% on your money, guys. Like the plays are there. Like it really is yours for the taking. And there's not too much point to this video other than, me trying to get the point across to you guys, because I know a lot of you are new here. I know a lot of you are older viewers as well. So thank you for still being here. But the point is that, if you're going through a rough time with your Pokemon investing, or maybe you're thinking about diving in and buying a couple things, like you can make money doing this, right? My portfolio is up another $3,000 basically over the past week, right? Like that's not a coincidence. People time and time again, just don't put their money into things when they know they probably should put their money into it. And I think we're at that point with collectibles, right? Whether it's Pokemon, whether it's One Piece, whether it's stuff like Lego or Tamagotchis, or, sealed Nintendo games or whatnot, right? Like you got to look at collectibles at this point as a legitimate place to park some money. Now, again, collectibles are inherently more risky than things like the S&P 500. If you want to make your 10% on average a year, like sure, put your money in ETFs, like you should have a lot of money in these. I don't really deal with stocks. Like I don't pick individual stocks. Like I don't go in and buy just Nvidia, Palantir. I'm not really smart in that sense, right? Like for me, whatever money I put in, I'm just putting in the S&P. I'm going to track the whole market and be happy with my gains on that, right? Pokemon, I know a lot more about. I don't always hit the nail on the head, right? Like I kind of missed with 151 this year, so I probably could have made a bit more money, but my portfolio is still up over 50% this year, right? So, that's much better than my ETFs and my stocks making 25% or in that range in the last 12 months. I'm basically making double the money in Pokemon, and there's always room to grow. And not to mention, it's just so much more fun having collectibles, right, guys? And I mean, you could make other, remarks, and, you could have pros and cons about everything. I just like having boxes and tins around as well. Like being able to physically pick something up and look at it and know that you own it, and that there's inherent value to it, right? And if everything goes to zero, if the world explodes or whatever, at least you could have a bit of fun with it. No one's gonna be able to have fun staring at, numbers on their screen of how many Palantir and Nvidia stocks they own, right? So you know, it's a fun hobby, but it's more than just a hobby at this point for a lot of people. For a lot of people, a lot of us, you know, you can make legitimate money from it. So that's this video, guys. If anyone ever tries to, you know, talk shit about the collectible market, talk shit about Pokemon investing, just tell them to shut the fuck up, right? You just keep on buying, you keep making your money. And sure, there will be downturns, right, where we don't make a lot of money. Could go stagnant for years. A lot of the popularity could follow the hobby, but hey, you know, enjoy the ride right now. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one.